We have had so many people DMing us and many of you leaving comments asking if the games we post in our other videos will be available on Switch or if there are any good upcoming games for Switch players. So we've heard you and we've picked out 7 of the best that are releasing in the last few months of 2024. The first game is Hollow Knight Silksong, which at the time of recording is the most wishlisted game on Steam, so the hype around it is crazy. Silksong initially started as a DLC for the original game, but the scope became so big that they decided to make it a separate sequel. It keeps the same game art style as the first, a 2D platformer that will be more than double the size of the original with at least 165 new enemies and over 100 different checkpoints, and when that's compared to the 41 checkpoints that were in Hollow Knight, you can quickly see why they made it into a separate game rather than just a DLC. One of the biggest changes is the protagonist. Her name is Hornet and she's different to the original as she can now talk, which can add so much potential for deeper NPC interactions, storylines and side quests. They've also made her be able to move more freely with some acrobatic flair and heal herself instantly. Once you've completed the story and conquered the kingdom, there will be a new Silksong mode, which seems to be a play on words with a Souls-like, but that mode spins the game into a unique and challenging version of the game for you to play through all over again. Christopher Larkin, who was Hollow Knight's award-winning music composer, returns as well to bring back the great atmosphere that was made in the original. Silksong doesn't have a confirmed release date yet, but it is expected to release sometime this year. The next on the list is Funko Fusion, which brings to life everyone's favourite collectibles with over 60 unique characters from more than 20 of your favourite beloved franchises. The premise of the game is for you to travel around to different worlds that were inspired by the franchises associated and take down a villain that is trying to destroy the universe with their toxic powers. Pretty standard, right? The developers promise that despite the completely different universes that you'll play through, the unique story that the game has will tie them all together while letting you relive some of the memorable moments that they all have. Each character will have their own set of weapons, special moves, and some will have unique skills that will be needed to solve puzzles or unlock certain areas. There's also a crafting system so you can craft gadgets or items to give yourself an advantage in battle or unlock hidden areas. They've already announced that it won't be a Toys to Life game like Skylanders, so you won't need to go out and buy more just to be able to play the game or make use of the ones in your collection already, unfortunately. But it looks like it'll be a very similar system to the LEGO games where you unlock them by completing the missions or buying them with an in-game currency that you collect. On the Steam store, there's already a Team Fortress 2 pack that you can get for free and a Walking Dead pack that looks like it might need to be bought. Whether they're available for Switch, it's yet to be seen. Funko Fusion seems to be online co-op only, so no split screen unfortunately, and it will be releasing on the 13th of September. The third game on our list is a remake of the 2010 platformer Epic Mickey that initially just released for the Wii is now getting a rebrush. It's expected that there won't be too much new content as it largely sticks true to the original game, but it fixes a lot of the issues that the original game did have, particularly the camera controls and the movement system. In the remake, the camera settings have been optimized for all platforms rather than the dynamic Wii system, and there's a bunch of new ways to traverse around including a sprint, dash and ground pound to utilize. There will be over 3 times more collectibles to find, from pins to film reels to artwork and so much more that you can encounter on your journey throughout the dark Disney wasteland. All areas have been optimized, especially the 2D sections of the game, and some areas include new puzzles to work through. The world looks and runs so much smoother in 60 FPS, and with the updated graphics, it'll be a joy to jump back into the Epic Mickey world and encounter everything all over again. The original game's designer was Warren Spector, who also created Deus Ex and System Shock, and he said in an interview that Epic Mickey was one of the games that he was most proud of, which just shows the quality of the game. Spector also said he designed the game for children and parents to play together, and that kids could teach their parents to play as that is how he expected it to be played, rather than the other way around. So if you're looking for a game with a rich story to play with your family, Disney's Epic Mickey Rebrushed could be the game you're looking for. It releases on the 24th of September with a demo available for you to try out now. The next game we've chosen has had very little build up for it and might have slipped under everyone's radar. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was announced at Nintendo Direct in June this year, and it's already releasing at the end of September. After last year's Tears of Kingdom release that was so good and so hyped even before it's released, Echoes of Wisdom seems like it's dropping out of nowhere. The game is a part of the mainline Legend of Zelda series, and it's the first edition where the protagonist is Princess Zelda, who's on the quest to save Link and the Kingdom of Hyrule. After mysterious rifts that appeared throughout Hyrule that caused many disappearances, including Link and the King, into the Still World, Zelda comes across a mysterious fairy named Tree, who accompanies her on her journey and gives her the Tree Rod, which can create echoes which are imitations of objects and monsters that can be used to take down enemies. The two of them will need to navigate their way through both Hyrule and the fragments of the Still World, which are sections that are frozen in time that also contain dungeons and a boss at the end that will need to be defeated before progressing. Despite the power of the rod and the echoes, you can still use a sword to fight that will turn Zelda into sword fighter form, which resembles Link. I find it interesting that the game follows the same art style as the Switch remake of Link's Awakening, which follows a bit more of an Animal Crossing art style compared to what we saw last year with the Tears of Kingdom. Echoes of Wisdom is releasing on the 26th of September, and we want to know if you're hyped for it or if everyone missed the memo about it. If you're looking for a party game, Super Mario Party Jamboree is the one. It is the biggest Mario Party game to date with over 110 minigames for you to play through and compete against your friends. It's the next main series Mario Party game since Super Mario Party that came out in 2018, and it looks like it's the ultimate and most complete Mario Party yet, that also introduces Ninja and Pauline as playable characters for the first time in the series. There will be 7 different boards, including 5 brand new boards and also 2 returning boards with Mario's Rainbow Castle and Western Land, which previously appeared in Mario Party 1 and 2. There is such a large variety of different mini-games to play through that you'll never get bored, and some will require you to use your controller differently, like shaking, tilting, or using the buttons like normal. But unlike some of the previous games, you'll be able to turn off motion-controlled mini-games. They announced a massive Coupathlon trial which works a little bit differently to the other game modes, where you'll compete against up to 20 players in a series of challenges to see who comes out on top. There's expected to be a number of changes back to some of the original formulas, as many fans had thought the series had lost its way a little bit, so expect a lot of quality of life changes, including the one I mentioned earlier about being able to turn off motion control mini-games throughout the game. Super Mario Party Jamboree has been touted as the series saver, and we'll find out if it is on the 17th of October when it is set to release. It looks to be the best Super Mario Party game yet, and we can't wait to try it with our friends. The next game is called Europa, which is a gorgeous Studio Ghibli-styled game that reminds us a lot of the single-player games that we don't see as much these days, of exploration and an underlying story to uncover. In Europa, you play as an android who's been sent to, well, the moon Europa, to find and explore the ruins of a once mighty civilization that lived there and created a utopia. Your job is to delve deeper into the world in search of what happened to the last human alive. Despite its overarching story, it will also encapsulate an intimate story about growing up and humanity's relationship with nature. The graphics and the world look incredible, and even though there's not a whole lot in it, it doesn't feel empty, which some games can tend to do. Exploring through the different biomes and infrastructure is going to be one of the highlights of playing this one for sure. I love the simplicity of the game mechanics. There's no combat or inventory systems. It's just run, fly, and dash around, and the movement system is slick and rewarding when you chain them all together and get some momentum and are flying through the sky. There is a small progression system as you'll slowly upgrade your jetpack to reach new heights and speeds as you find new tech on your journey. Europa was a passion project for Helder Pinto, and after a couple of setbacks and previously planned release dates, they confirmed at Gamescom that it will be releasing on the 11th of October. There is a demo available which you can try in the meantime, and fingers crossed it doesn't get delayed again, as we think it looks great and a perfect fit for the Switch. Our final game is another sequel with Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which is a lot like Animal Crossing but more towards the life sim genre, as you'll similarly play on an island that you can explore and build your own city as you live through the life as one of the 14 different occupations to choose from. You and up to 4 of your friends will be able to work together, each taking up different roles from the 3 different categories: battlers, gatherers, and creators, to build your base and fight enemies. As the title suggests, there is some time travel involved. In the present, the islands have been deserted, so you'll need to travel back in time to collect resources to restore and expand upon the island in the present. As you explore and restore, you'll uncover the past of what happened and any mysteries of your newfound home. Each job, or life as they call it, will have their own set of minigames or activities to do as part of their work, and you'll be able to switch between the lives to better suit the role that you need at that time. There will be popular characters from the series that will be making a return, along with the original 12 occupations, including 2 new additions, the farmer and the artist that you can choose to play as. It was set to release on the 10th of October, but during the recording process of this video, it was announced that it had been delayed, so it may not end up releasing in 2024. We're not exactly sure yet, so sorry about that one. Despite that, it could definitely be one to spend a lot of time playing. That concludes our list of some of the best up-and-coming Switch games for this year. We hope you found some new games for you to be excited for, and let us know which one you're the most excited for. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to discover more new games to play.